What if I were to tell you that there was a popular over-the-counter medicine that sells more than $1.8 billion a year that simply doesn't work?
The drug is marketed as a decongestant, but there is mounting evidence tonight that it may be ineffective.
The ingredient phenylephrine is the most popular oral decongestant on the market.
Sudafed PE likely is going to come off the market.
Phenylephrine is ineffective as a decongestant, and it advised the FDA the drugs shouldn't be sold.
Phenylephrine is a popular ingredient in many over-the-counter allergy and cold medications. And according to a new independent advisory committee at the Food and Drug Administration, it is completely ineffective in its tablet form. Phenylephrine is the main ingredient in products like Benadryl Allergy Plus Congestion, Sudafed PE, and Vicks Sinex. The ingredient is considered to be safe to use. That was never up for debate. But many doctors have questioned for years whether or not phenylephrine is effective. These products generate nearly $1.8 billion in sales last year alone, according to data that was presented to the FDA on their Nonprescription Drug Advisory Committee. After 1 day of debate, the committee voted no to a very specific question. Do the current scientific data that were presented in the monograph suggest that phenylephrine, when administered as a tablet, is effective as a nasal decongestant? All 16 of the voters voted unanimously that the medication is ineffective and suggested that there is no further research needed to show that the drug does not work. According to Dr. Diane Ginsburg, a pharmacist at the University of Texas Austin School of Pharmacy, she states, "We really should not have products on the market that are not effective." The FDA told the Non-Prescription Committee that it would take their advice into consideration and did not give a timeline on removing this ineffective medication from the market. If the FDA decides to reclassify phenylephrine from generally recognized as safe and effective, stakeholders would have the opportunity to comment on the proposed change and provide additional data to show that the medication actually works. During the process, companies are still allowed to market products that contain phenylephrine. But if the FDA agrees with the committee, companies will be required to remove products that contain phenylephrine from store shelves and reformulate them. The FDA originally approved phenylephrine for over-the-counter use all the way back in the 1970s, but it became much more popular after 2005 when legislation restricted access to over-the-counter drugs like pseudoephedrine, which is an effective nasal decongestant, but also can be used as a precursor in the production of methamphetamine. In 2007, the FDA committee looked at all of the science available at the time and came to a conclusion that phenylephrine might be effective, and it asked for more research. Since then, 3 large clinical trials have shown that the orally administered ingredient is not effective as a nasal decongestant in its typical doses. The committee also looked at other research used to support its use over the counter, and the FDA found that those studies were inconsistent and did not meet modern scientific standards. So, what's the takeaway? The takeaway is that even though phenylephrine is considered the most common anti-allergy oral over-the-counter medicine in all nasal and sinus products, last year, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology petitioned to remove the drug's over-the-counter status. How does this drug maybe work? Well, supposedly, it temporarily reduces the swelling of blood vessels in the nasal passages. A respiratory infection or allergies prompt the body to send white blood cells to the nose, throat, and sinuses, leading to swelling in the membranes and the creation of mucus. Decongestants, like phenylephrine, are supposed to constrict the blood vessels in the sinuses, nose, and help to reduce the swelling, allowing fluids to drain. But in tablet form, phenylephrine gets absorbed by the gut and is metabolized so quickly that only a tiny amount of it makes it into the bloodstream, meaning that it never reaches the nose. What we know is that there is an extraordinary amount of money being spent on a drug that simply does not